Welcome back to BPM TV Spotlight, sitting with Dragonette, and you guys are one of the most in-demand Canadian talents right now. Martina, especially you. You've been doing features with Martin Solveig, with Boys and Girls, and Basement Jaxx with Take Me Back to Your House, and of course, Cascade with Fire in Your New Shoes. Talk a little bit about the evolution of working with Basement Jaxx.
I think that was the first collaboration that I had ever done. I mean, after I started considering Dan and I as being
no longer a collaboration.
We were more of an item.
The new, yeah, we were the control.
Yeah, so I just got kind of thrown into that scene. Went out to like Brixton, where they had a studio. It was like in the far south of London, and went to their studio, and just the experience of writing with those guys. They're like insane, as far as I'm concerned, like insanely amazing brain, like genius writers, and just being able to watch that and be around that was eye-opening. And I think it inspired me, and it kind of opened me up, like, to the fact that if you're going to sit in the studio with somebody who you don't know and you're not 100% familiar with or comfortable with, the only way to get anywhere is to just throw shit against the wall and and let it all hang out. Because if you're timid, or if you're holding back, or if you're only going to get something that's half-assed. And those guys really showed me that. It's just like, literally, it was like I'm in the booth, in the vocal booth, and Simon,
Felix is yelling.
Yeah, Felix is like on the talkback mic. Okay, sing this. Yeah. Okay, Z. Okay, and like really just all sounds like that, like that kind of crazy shit. And it's like, okay, I just got to do this. And it was just went on for like hours. I'm like, where is this shit coming from? But yeah, it just opened me up to the fact that you have to be just able to
Yeah, you can't be uninhibited, right?
Yeah.
You gotta just open, like.
You gotta let it out.
And then let them play with it, and then whatever happens, happens. And it turned out to be an absolute success. Basement Jaxx says nothing but good things about you.
Yeah, she's great. So a friend of mine was the guy who actually signed them to the record label at that time. And so I'd gotten to know them, and then we needed to work with a singer, and he kept suggesting her. So we got her in, and she was great. And we wrote that song together in the studio. Again, like we're just making up a scenario, and then she made the video in Ukraine, I think it was, and we didn't get to go. We were on tour,
which is a real shame.
Yeah, and it's a wicked video. That's one of our best videos, actually. It's really, really good. And
Dougal Wilson is the director.
Yeah.
The video was amazing. It's so unique. All your videos are so unique. And that one was, you got the Russian choreography and everything, tanks coming in and everything. It was crazy. Talk about the direction of that video. Did you have any hand in it?
I didn't have, I didn't have any hand in it, but I certainly had a good time making it. It was one of the hardest.
You almost also puked making that video.
Yeah, twice.
Too much Russian vodka, or
no, too much spinning around. I have terrible motion sickness.
You look like a ballet star though when you come out and you do.
Yeah, that's not me. Come on, let's not get crazy.
I can't be a girl. Look at yourself. Maybe you have taken me for someone else. I can't be a girl to my fatigue. This is not your world, boy, you're out of your league.
When I got to speak with Dragonette, we had a conversation and found that we had a lot of taste in common for music. We toured together in 2008 in Australia, and so I saw her performing on stage, and I thought Martina is really something special. She has something more. Well, something I liked very much, and so I thought, wow, it would be really cool to do something with her. We tried to do a little bit of a taste of a musical, but very contemporary, and of course a little bit not very tight, not very Frank Sinatra, a little bit more Martin and Martina.
So the video for Boys and Girls with Martin Solveig has a lot of choreography, a lot of stylish, which is typical with all you guys' videos and a lot of dancing all around. What was it like making it? What was it like viewing it? And was it?
I'm sure it was way harder to make it than it was to watch. I think Tina rehearsed for 2 days, 2 or 3 days.
4 days.
Oh yeah,
But
and then
it looks more like 2 days.
but when you watch it, you don't notice for on the first viewing anyway that it's like so many long shots with no edits, and I had never seen anything like that where there was an amazingly choreographed group of people, including a lot of pro dancers, Martin and Martina, who did an amazing job of learning these moves of this, like, there was a woman, like, you know, counting 1, 2, 3, 4 the whole time and like yelling direction at them for days and days and days. And then this camera guy who did the most amazing camera work on, like, he had a steady cam, like in the middle of all of them. And shooting this video over one day in one of the most amazing buildings I've ever been in Paris, which is that Jean-Paul Gaultier building. And it looked effortless, I think, at the end. But I know that when Tina was in like 7-inch heels at 6 in the morning trying to dance on a gravel roof, and that it was a lot harder than it looked.
Yeah. Well, how do you just like turn it on? Because you always like got the blue steel in the video. You look like it's always effortless and like you just are in your zone.
I feel like it's a little more Magnum than Blue Steel. But I know what you mean.
Nice one. There's one shot of my face where 100% sure I can see. I'm probably the only one who sees it, but I am concentrating like a mother. I can hear my mind. I can see my mind being 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. My face is like, okay, I can do this. I'm not gonna f it up, and I can totally see it every time I watch the video.
And then there's
I'm
the one
like,
place that you too, right?
yeah, but then they built it in. They built it in because it was hilarious.
Yeah. No, everybody else is like going down and Tina's like going up, and then they all turn left and she's turning right, and then and it's like, oh yeah,
But it looks better that way, right? It comes across.
I was so angry. I was like, I can't believe I f it up again. And I do this, and I walk off, and then everyone's like laughing. They're like, that was great.
It was perfect because then you stand up, right? It turned
But maybe no one's supposed to know that was actually a mistake.
yeah, that was 100% choreographed. You're right.
You can see it from the video that it's very long takes, like 1 minute. There is a 1 minute take, you know, that the camera didn't stop. We worked with we were very lucky, you know, for this video. We had a lot of technical helps and everything. So we worked with this steady cameraman, you know, who was doing normally some action movies for big things in Hollywood and everything. And so he was like in the house of Jean-Paul Gaultier with this big steady cam, and he was going through the walls and everything, and he was really skilled. So we could just do the dance that we rehearsed, and he was filming everything, and it was very impressive.
What's up, Dragonette? Love you guys. Thank you, Martina. I love that song. Fire in your new shoes. I had heard her voice. A friend had sent me a song of hers, and I was like, this is really cool. Who's the singer of this band? Oh, Martina. The band's Dragonette. They're out of Toronto. I kind of got the story. I was like, this is so cool, man. I should hit this girl up, see if she's into working on something together. And I had that I already had the music bed kind of worked on. I hadn't written anything on top of it yet. So I was like, wow, maybe she'll have an idea for this one because it's a little bit more guitar driven. Maybe she'll understand the sound. And she got it, and she's like, oh, this is cool. You know, she hit me back pretty quick, and I was like, this melody's amazing. Can you finish it up? You know, because she was like, what do you think of this direction? I was like, this is awesome. This is beautiful. Finish it. You know, I love it. And it kind of, I mean, really, it's that simple. Kind of just go back and forth a few times, and if it works, it works. And in this case, it most definitely worked, yeah.
Well, I don't want to make you blush, but when we were in Miami, we went to Cascade's album release party, and the one song that he was most, I think he knew because we were Canadian, but the one song that he was most excited about was, of course, Fire in Your New Shoes, which was your track, and he was like, you know, did you know about this girl? She's crazy. I'm like, yes, we have plenty of these gems here in Toronto. Talk a little bit about working with Cascade. Were you in the studio with him? Or?
No, that was an email experience.
Yeah. So do you feel like you have more creative control when he sends it off to you, or do you feel more pressure? Like he's expecting something the best? Or?
I don't know. I kind of like working that way because I can kind of shut the door and I can try so many things. I mean, as much as, like I said before with the basement jacks, you know, you have to open up. But there is a certain amount of, like, there's a certain amount of creativity that privacy allows.
Absolutely, for sure, yeah.
So.
I wasn't even allowed in the room.
Really? Really? It was that private?
No, you just like, it took me a long time because the track is different than what, it doesn't really have a pop format with like chord changes and here's the chorus and so you have to work in another way. You have to imagine it in your head, and so it took a while to get it, and yeah, I'm super proud of that track. I love hearing it.
Martina came up with the melody, she came up with the lyrics. I sent her the music, and she sent me the lyrics and melody back. Like, here it is, what do you think? Like, oh, this is amazing. And we weren't in the same city. I think she recorded it here in Toronto. It just kind of happened over the internet.
Buttons are busted, we're decorated. We make an ornament with gold and silver plated. So what's the latest? We raise a fever. We're just all red inside, that's all there is to see here. Yeah, we're red inside, we're all red inside. And the leg bone's connected to the one in the thigh. We're red inside, we're all red inside. And the leg bone's connected to the one in the thigh.
They had to film her singing the lyrics backwards. So she had to memorize it all backwards because some of the sequences are backwards, and then they would run the film forward. I mean, it's just it was a cool thing. And also when she's crawling forward and the ribbons are going off her arms. I mean, she's singing backwards because they're pulling the ribbons off her arm, but it looks like it's going forward motion. So it's all like this.
Oh, okay.
It was way over my head. When I read the script, I'm like, I think this is going to be cool. But I'm not totally sure. But then when they sat down with me and explained, like, oh, this is what it looked like, it's like, oh, yeah, this is brilliant, man. Let's do this.
I still got plenty more with Dragonette. I'm gonna get to Joe and ask him what it's like working with these two in the studio, if they boss him around or whatnot. Just keep it locked on BPM TV Spotlight.